My narcissistic friend was convinced I was obsessed with him, then told my perfect fiance. He believed it and called off our engagement. My best friend Sarah and her husband Matt have put me in a very difficult position with my fiance Jack. Matt and I have known each other since we were kids and we were really friendly with each other. He was good company, but I never saw him as a romantic partner for me. I met Sarah in college and we became close friends. Eventually, I introduced her to Matt at an outing and they really hit it off. I saw a spark between those two, so I talked Matt up to Sarah, saying how he's so nice, trustworthy, and just overall has very good qualities. She seemed convinced to talk to him more and it didn't take long for them to start dating. I was really happy for them, but that died quickly because I became a third wheel. I was often ignored or set aside because they only ever wanted to spend time with each other. Whenever Sarah and I made plans, she would always cancel at the last minute because Matt would make plans on the same days. As for Matt, he had completely dropped me as a friend. He never wanted to talk to me, see me, and he made it a habit to leave a place if I showed up. This saddened me because we had known each other for years and it hurt to know I could be dropped that quickly and easily. I honestly felt worthless. I remained good friends with Sarah though, and we would frequently hang out once college was over. She never brought Matt along to our hangouts like she used to, but the very few times that I saw him, we didn't talk other than the occasional polite hellos. I thought that was probably for the best because Matt had developed an unpleasant personality and would frequently be rude and condescending towards me. I never asked why, but he was a very devoted and loving husband to Sarah, so I tolerated it for her sake. Then, my fiancé and I got engaged and we had no desire to throw a party, but Sarah was disappointed, so she organized a small get-together at her home to celebrate. I really appreciated it and it was great. Until my fiancé and I were about to leave. We were going to thank Sarah and Matt for their sweet gesture, but Matt was really tipsy by that point and he suddenly hugged me. I was taken aback and I didn't even hug him back. Even when we were on good terms, we never did that. Then he said the worst thing ever. He was glad that I was finally settling down and he is relieved that now I'll be over the crush I had on him. I was floored. There was no crush. I barely liked being around him now because his attitude was just horrible. I had met Jack early on and I loved him dearly. I would never want to be with Matt. I straight up told him that wasn't true, but he just laughed and told Jack that I was always chasing him and he had to work hard to keep me away. I panicked. Jack actually looked pissed and I dragged Sarah in to do some damage control. But she just said, "He's intoxicated, ignore him. Besides, you know I always trust you. I know you wouldn't act on your crush." My jaw just dropped, and Jack walked out. I ran after him and tried explaining that this isn't true, but he wasn't having it. He told me he doesn't want to be anyone's second choice or their backup plan. He didn't want to talk to me, so the ride back home was tense, and then he left for someplace else. I've tried calling him, but he's not answering my calls. I've talked to Sarah multiple times to get her to clear things up with Jack, but she's brushing me off and telling me not to make a big deal out of things. When I told her I haven't talked to Jack in a while, she told me he'll learn to live with my crush on Matt so our relationship will be fine. What does that even mean? I don't understand why they believe this or why she'd stay friends with me if she thought I was into her husband. I had done so much for her, like planning her wedding even though I wasn't even the maid of honor. I helped her through her pregnancy and have babysat her kids so many times. She never gave me any indication she thought this, and why would she want me close to her family if she believed this? I feel humiliated that these people think I was pining away for a jerk like Matt. I need help in convincing Jack this isn't true and that he's the only one for me. My narcissistic friend was convinced I was obsessed with him, then told my perfect fiancé. He believed it and called off our engagement. At my engagement party, my best friend's husband Matt said that he was glad I finally settled down because I was obsessed with him. My fiancé Jack heard this, but it wasn't true at all. Jack believed it either way and it really affected our relationship. I haven't spoken to him in days and I'm mad that he was throwing away our relationship over what some intoxicated idiot said. I tried to talk to my best friend Sarah again to ask her to explain why she'd think I had a crush on Matt. I never thought I gave off that vibe, but it seemed everyone believed it. She said that I was always gushing over Matt and talked him up, so she was sure I was into him. I told her that was so she could like him. I never had any interest in him. She didn't believe me on that and went on to say that I was upset when they first started dating and it was because I was jealous. I said no, it was because I was constantly excluded, felt like a third wheel, and was always ignored. If anything, I wanted her attention, not Matt's, because she was my best friend. It hurt that she would choose a guy so easily over her best friend. I asked why she never said anything and why she let me be around them so much, to which she explained that she could manage the situation. She had asked Matt to stop talking to me completely and she engineered situations so there was little chance of us socializing with each other. That explained why Matt's attitude towards me changed completely. I set everything straight with her and asked her to please talk to Jack to tell him it was all a misunderstanding, but she said she didn't want to lie. That frustrated me immensely because it seemed like nothing I said would change her mind on this. It was annoying how she could ignore this imaginary crush for years and manipulate me, but won't talk to my fiancé to help my relationship. I told her I was done being her friend and to not contact me anymore. Thinking back, I was always doing stuff for her and she did very little for me, so our friendship wasn't even the healthiest. I then wrote a long letter to Jack explaining the entire history of my relationship with Sarah and Matt with the recent screen caps. I asserted as best as I could that I had never pined after any guy because I loved him and he was my only choice. I was really hoping this would get him to see my side of things so that we could get back to where we were. After days of silence, Jack finally agreed to talk to me, and it wasn't the best news. We met and he said that he sees two ways of interpreting this situation. 1. Matt and Sarah are right and he doesn't want to be my second choice. 2. They are malicious people who are messing with me, and that shows very poor judgment on my part since I would have a best friend that does something awful like that. He doesn't want that quality in a life partner. Either possibility leads to the same conclusion: he wants to call off the engagement. He also said that I resented Sarah for the same things I had done to him, so I wasn't any better than her. I had cancelled plans with him to take care of her kid when the baby was sick. It had irked him, but he had seen it as me being caring and nice, but now he's seeing all that in a different light. I had solidified Sarah as one of the most important people in my life, even though she had made it very clear she could do well without me. He made me see that I was a doormat and a pushover, and he didn't want those qualities in a partner either, so ending the engagement was for the best. I cried and begged him not to do this, but he wanted a break for a while. I honestly thought this was going to break me. In just a week, I had lost my best friend and fiance. I didn't even have anyone to fall back onto. Being alone during our break gave me time to think over everything he said, and I came to the realization that he was right. I was a clingy friend and a doormat. I never even saw how much one-sided my friendship with Sarah was. She didn't care about me at all. As for Jack, I gave up so many things for him and got persuaded left and right by his ideas. I didn't want to get married or have kids this early, but I agreed to his timelines because he wanted it. I gave up an exciting job opportunity with more money because he didn't want me traveling for work. There was so much I needed to improve about myself before committing myself for life to somebody else. I love him, but I need to be stronger and make better decisions. I called Jack and was surprised that he answered, but I asked to meet up. I gave back his ring and permanently ended things. He was actually shocked and asked how I could be breaking up with him. I was actually offended by that statement and just said that he was right, we weren't good for each other. He told me that the break was his decision, so he should be dumping me, not the other way around. I said if he felt that way, then it was for the best that we didn't get married. I left it at that, and I'm trying to get my life back on track after this disaster.